Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Noreen Garrity, Associate Director for Education at Rutgers Camden Center for the Arts, one of the A New View team core members. And on behalf of everyone associated with the project, welcome to site number 4, Touching the Earth, for today's panel conversation about illegal dumping and environmental justice, themes at the very heart of A New View Camden. At 6 sites throughout the city of Camden, large-scale public art has been placed to provide a new view for residents and visitors. Public art is there for everyone, placed in public sites open to all. Public art can express community values, make us aware of issues, transform sites, and pose questions for the viewers. This project has already had a 3+ year journey with many Camden partners, organizations, community members, artists, volunteers, students, and parents joining us for the ride. The artists selected for the project each made a connection to the theme of illegal dumping. A lot of the materials used in A New View Camden public art are recycled, upcycled, or repurposed. As for why the theme, as you are already aware, illegal dumping is the act of dumping garbage at a location without permission. This includes dumping construction materials, appliances, furniture, tires, and other garbage on streets, parkland, and vacant lots, and costs the city of Camden approximately $4 million a year. A New View is a collaboration by the City of Camden, Cooper's Ferry Partnership, Rutgers Camden Center for the Arts, and Bloomberg Philanthropies Public Art Challenge. A New View is a winner of the Bloomberg Public Art Challenge. Out of 131 proposals received for our project here, 8 artists were selected to create their visions. Art has a unique way of getting at a topic, drilling down to its essence and prompting conversation and dialogue. We thank the many funders for the project, including Bloomberg Philanthropies Public Art Challenge, Subaru of America Foundation, and the New Jersey Council for the Humanities for making this site and this program possible. And of course, thank you to WHYY for recording today's conversation and being a partner. Touching the Earth is a community and artist-made parklet of wooden geometric shapes, as you see here, and adobe organic natural shapes. Making parklets is a way to add nature to city neighborhoods. Plants are beneficial for the environment since they put oxygen into the atmosphere, absorb carbon dioxide, and give a home for wildlife. Adobe is a material used for building that's made of organic materials such as earth, clay, and straw. The clay bread pizza oven is a hollow dome-shaped structure constructed out of clay. The oven is located right here in the park and holds its heat for up to 24 hours so that it can be used for baking or roasting pizzas, bread. The amazing mural behind us was designed by project artist apprentice Priscilla Rios, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Please make sure you get a copy of the Family Guide, which is available in the book arcs at each site. This has information and critical thinking and arts education activities for you and your families to help you self-tour the sites. We are so happy to have been a part of making this project a reality, and we look forward to many more programs with all of you over the next 5 months. Now I will introduce and pass the mic over to Vedra Chandler, my fellow core team member, and a big key to keeping this project going smoothly. Vedra is project manager at Cooper's Ferry Partnership and an incredible artist in her own right.
Thank you, Noreen. Oops. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vedra Chandler. I am a project manager at Cooper's Ferry Partnership in Camden, New Jersey, and a core team member for A New View Camden. It is my honor and privilege to serve as your moderator this afternoon for this community conversation on illegal dumping in Camden. I am going to start by introducing our 4 panelists who have graciously given up their afternoons to talk to us about this issue that I know is very close to their hearts, very much a part of all of our lives. We'll start with Armando Alfonso. Armando is the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Office of Brownfield and Community Revitalization and Community Collaborative Initiative member. He is the liaison for the City of Camden, working hand in hand with the Camden Collaborative Initiative to ensure that concerns of Camden residents around the environment get heard at the state level. Keith Walker is our Director of Public Works for the City of Camden, Born and raised in Camden, Keith has been coaching youth football and mentoring Camden City youth for 25 years. Jacqueline Santiago. Jacqueline is the program coordinator for the Camden Lutheran Housing Incorporated organization of North Camden. She directs community initiatives there. She does work in community beautification, including Block Supporters of North Camden Community Gardens, Decorative Board Up, and also works with residents on home ownership and the Change the Message program, which takes billboards featuring negative advertisements and changes the message to those that the community can use, such as family resources, activities, and helps our community to enabling them to enjoy their neighborhood. Jacqueline grew up in Camden until the age of 35 when she left for Chicago, where she lived for 13 years before returning to her hometown of Camden, New Jersey in 2017. Our last panelist is Mayor Vic Carstarphen. Mayor of the city of Camden, Victor was born and raised here. He lives in the Parkside neighborhood and is a former councilman of Ward 2, an accountant and former senior consultant with the Holmes & Company, LLC. He is looking forward to this conversation about illegal dumping and to working with residents to resolve this important civic issue. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, panelists. So I am going to just ask a couple of questions, but I also just want to remind everybody that this is a conversation. So if somebody feels like answering, or if I haven't asked you directly, it doesn't mean that you can't answer. And you can please feel free to respond to one another, and don't be surprised if I jump in the conversation with you. So, illegal dumping. The city of Camden spends more than $4 million a year collecting and disposing of up to 50,000 tons of trash that is illegally dumped inside of our city limits each year. It's a lot of trash. It's a lot of trash. I'd like to hear from each of you about your personal and professional experiences with illegal dumping. I'm going to start with Armando.
Yes. So personally, I come from a community that's very similar to Camden. And I can say early in my life, I became numb to the amount of illegal dumping that you see in your neighborhood. That's a very unfortunate piece to that. And it ties to when I got into my professional life at the DEP and coming to communities that weren't mine. And I noticed what can be done. Professionally, our efforts at the DEP, we're continuously dealing with illegal dumping, not just in Camden, but throughout the state. And it's something that it hits hard with me as well, and it's something I care about, and I would like to assist the city as we have been, but will continue to do with the city to remediate.
Right.
Director Walker.
Been working for the Department of Public Works for 32 years. So over the 32 years, I've seen the ups and downs of Camden as far as illegal dumping, to vacant properties back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s to where we are right now on the revitalization of the city of Camden. Legal dumping is at an all-time high right now within our city, and we're taking all proactive measures with NJDP, CCI, and EPA, and all the other Cooper's Ferry, and all the other agencies that's willing to help revitalize the city, the image, as well as the trash, because as far as I'm concerned, professionally, it's about the kids. Safe routes to school, living in conditions that every other kid is able to live in municipalities outside the city. So my goal is to make sure that happens, clean up the blight, cut into that cost of $4.3 million, the 45,000 tons of trash, 50,000 tons of trash, and take that money that we spend in tipping fees for illegal dumping that's illegally dumped and put it into our kids, into education, into playgrounds, into other things that could help our kids grow to be prosperous human beings and pillars of their communities.
Hey, Mr. Walker, that's awesome. I returned back to North Camden about 4 years ago. I was suffering from cancer, and at that time I felt like, I wasn't going to be doing much of anything, so I was really depressed. And when I came back to Byron Street, where I grew up, I started to see a lot of abandoned lots that I didn't like. And exactly what you said, I wanted to be able, for my children to be able to go outside and play in that empty lot in a safe manner. So with the help of CLHI North Camden, I started my journey on taking lots that are abandoned and doing guerrilla gardening. So what I do is I take recycled materials like tires and anything I find in the environment, and I make it into works of arts. And we have over 30 lots in Camden now. And my experience with illegal dumping, I actually chased one of them down the street with Vedra. It speaks badly that two women had to chase a man from dumping on our neighborhood. And I've personally seen them 3 or 4 times myself, and I'm not in Byron all the time. So imagine how much illegal dumping they're doing. So thank you for doing all those millions of dollars of picking up. But I just think that we need to provide more education to our residents on how we can work together to combat illegal dumping.
You know, I want to say, first I want to commend Keith Walker in Public Works for doing a tremendous job as an elected official. I've had to respond many times from residents regarding illegal dumping in our areas around the city, and it's sometimes, most of the time, it's primarily from a lot of individuals that's not from our city.
Yes.
And we have to continue to take pride as residents in becoming innovative and creative, as New View has been doing across our city in areas that would have been dumping areas, and making our residents feel pride about where we're at, and turning areas that have, again, were illegal dumping area into beautified situations within our community. Mr. Walker was right when he said $4 million. When you think about that, there's so many other opportunities and ways $4 million could be spent in our city in a good way, regarding our roads, regarding programming with our kids, and education. So we're going to continue fighting hard, and it's partnerships, good partnerships, because there's sometimes the cost of that and the resources may not be there as far as our city can start to overtake, and good partnerships help towards what we're dealing with. So I just want to say thank you for everyone that's involved and coming together, because this is what community is all about.
Thank you, guys. So you brought up a good point there, Mayor, about illegal dumping frequently occurring from outsiders to the city. And I wondered if Director Walker and Armando, if perhaps you could speak a little bit to our understanding of this phenomenon, people coming in from outside the city and dumping their trash inside.
Yes, what happened is this, and it's just common sense in how it goes. They hire contractors to renovate their house and their homes, clean out garages. And within that price that they charge in the residents is the price of tipping fees, or paying for the trash to go to the landfill. So instead of the trash going to the landfill or conveyed to the trash esteem plant, they take it and put it on our lots and in our backyards. So they're keeping 100% of the profit, but the taxpayers is getting charged for the tipping fees and for getting rid of the illegal dumping. And that's not fair on our city. It's not fair to our kids, because it brings, right now I can see it's an uptick as well as illegal dumping, but hazardous waste within the illegal dumping. Because before we just had illegal dumping, wood, trash, residential trash, clothes. Now we're getting paint, solvents, acids, and all kind of dangerous chemicals within it. We had, about 3 weeks ago, get a call from County Hazmat. On one of our lots, we got two 50-gallon drums, 55-gallon drums on a lot. So excuse me for not knowing these long words. I just asked him, what was in it? He said it's something real serious, that if it got out into the public, it would have harmed a lot of people. But this is the kind of things that people are dumping within our city, and that we need to just take hold of it and start taking over ownership. And as the mayor said, and as the bill platform he's running on, feel empowered within your neighborhood. Take over your neighborhood. When you see stuff that you don't like seeing, take a picture, take a snapshot, call us, call the police department, and we will do it. And we have discreet anonymous hotlines that you could call and get
CamdenReports.com.
CamdenReport.com.
And to stop it at. Yeah, I'm famous for using those. And speaking on the illegal dumping, last year we got over 300 tires that were illegally dumped on the 4th and Byron block. And when I say this is massive, it was 10 feet wide and over 8 feet tall. And I was annoyed. But I took a situation where, where brought rats and other infestations into our neighborhood. And we worked together as a community, like you said.
Yes, ma'am.
And we got residents involved together, and we painted 250 tires and distributed them within our community and filled them up with soil and flowers. Well, actually perennials, because they work better with months. And you're correct. I think that we are at a place where we are working together, doing what we're doing. Now we need to engage the residents. We need to speak to the residents and say, you see more than I do. For instance, I'm only on Byron four times that time, and I saw illegal dumping. So I know that the residents see more than what they're reporting. We need to take back our city. We need to be proud of our city, and we need to say no. It stops here. We need to work together. And if the residents don't start participating, we're going to continue to pick up after people if no one is saying nothing. This don't tell, don't say anything policy, it really has to end.
Having harsher penalties, increasing the fines, and letting individuals know that there's going to be a cost to this. There's going to be some severe penalties. And I like to say, our Assemblyman Bill Moen just passed a legal dumping act that says these penalties that are there are going to be doubled. As if you're caught in the act, or if anyone catches you, it sends pictures and we follow up. And you start hitting people in their pockets hard, they'll start slowing down.
I always say that people don't change unless you hurt their pocket.
Armando, I see you want to jump in there.
Yeah,
Go
I just
for it.
wanted to tie to the work that Director Walker does. I think he's downplaying it. The amount of collaboration he even has to do with my office, which is not part of the county, at the state, reaching out regarding certain sites and the differences in types of dumping that occurs in the city is vast. And we've been doing a lot of work on that. I want to tie, and it kind of speaks to both of the other points, about a program that our assistant commissioner has moved forward of compliance and enforcement. Her name is Elizabeth Dragon. It's the illegal dumping program, collaboration and deterrence. And actually, I'm happy to say that the city has received some of the resources already. Keeps happy about that because it's going to help with the deterrence in terms of camera rentals and things of that nature. And on top of that, recently, our Attorney General's office partnered with the DEP in filing quite a few cases throughout the state, but one specifically in the Waterfront South neighborhood. So there are efforts on our part in collaboration with my office and directly with Director Walker to make sure that we're providing all the resources we can to the city to protect the residents, because though I may have not said it, the Community Collaborative Initiative comes out of concerns for the residents and of the residents for the residents. So we want to make sure we're protecting them as well.
Armando, real quick, what is it? The Community Collaborative Initiative.
So the Community Collaborative Initiative is a statewide initiative that actually is born of the Camden Collaborative Initiative, which is a multimedia effort of dealing with different environmental issues throughout the city. It started with stormwater and dealing with flooding throughout the city with the combined sewer system. And because of that, our office at the DEP, in collaboration with the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, has branched out to, I believe, 12 communities where they have a liaison similar to me that basically deals with any issue that comes up in a community that ties to the DEP. That being said, there's times, as many of my partners know, that the issue they bring to me may not be a DEP issue, but nonetheless, I still feel the responsibility to make sure I get them in line with the right person at the right agency to make sure we get that solution to where it needs to be.
And it started in Camden.
It did start in Camden.
Wow, wonderful. Hey, look at us. Okay, I've heard several people say that, guys, great so far. I've wanted to jump in a million times, but I want to hear you talk. Say that we could spend this money other ways, right? $4 million. It's not always $4 million. Maybe sometimes it's 3.8. Maybe sometimes it's 4.3, right? But it's no matter what, it's a lot of money. I mean, I recently did a little Google search of things that I could buy for $4 million. What kind of yacht this might get me, right? I don't know. I don't know if the city's interested in a yacht. What are we interested in? Keith, you mentioned youth programs, and let's think, I don't know, think big, think about all kinds of stuff. I think it's $4 million is also close to what it costs to repair like just under a mile's worth of our combined sewer system that runs underneath the city, right? We have way more than 1 mile worth of road to replace in the city. So if every year we were racking up this money, think about some of the things that we could do. What would you guys like to see? Where would you like to see this money go? I see Jackie, you're ready.
I'm not going to buy a yacht, but I actually want to follow along with the theme of keeping our community clean. I would like to see the proper trash receptacles that are being given to the residents here. The ones that are very thick and rodent proof that you can close and lock, similar to what you see in Chicago.
Not just in Chicago, you can see this in Cherry Hill.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I have to take a drive over there. I'm Camden girl. So if we spend the money on the proper receptacles, because I think some people think that don't live here in Camden, that us Camdenites literally just take our trash and we're just outside throwing it. We don't like to live like that, for the record, okay? We have a lot of rodents. We have raccoons. We have deers. We have cats. We have rats.
Wild turkeys.
Wild turkeys.
They're
We
everywhere.
have vultures. We have a wide variety of wildlife that gets into our trash, and this is then our floating trash. And one of the things that I try to tell all my residents is, if everyone in North Camden would just focus on the front of their house and the back of their house, keep it free of floating trash, we will not have a floating trash problem in North Camden. We need to stop worrying about what our neighbors not doing and worry about what we're doing.
So that's a great call. You could take some of this money and we could invest it in proper trash receptacles for all residents. You can already get a recycling can, from your
We need
local
one that
community center,
closes.
but the kind that close
And
and
is
where the
waterproof.
trash truck comes by with its arms and picks it up and
picks
dumps
it
it
up.
in.
Yeah,
Right.
that fancy one,
Right.
yes.
Something like that. Okay. What else? Any other ideas?
That was a great idea. The theme of what you talked about is controlling your environment.
Yes.
Everyone taking onus of where they live at, from the front
yeah,
to the back. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm getting new to this.
You getting used to it.
But everyone taking onus of their influence right in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pride thing, and we're constantly we hear words like empowering the community, and giving confidence in our community. And that's huge. We have our roads. You take $4 million. I travel around the city, and the biggest theme that I hear is our streets and roads. So being able to take some of that funding, helping out in the roads and pavement of our streets is huge. Also, our programming. I'm a big proponent of our after-school programming, supplementing what's going on during the day in our schools and supplementing that after school for our kids, which allows our kids, reinforces things that are being learned during the day. So, there's a plethora of things that we could do, and that's why we have to be vigilant on our mission on stopping this and taking this from, whatever time that someone's coming and closing that time and not allowing it to happen. Letting individuals be almost scared to come into Camden to do something as crazy as illegal dumping. So, thank you.
And we do have cameras. That's right. That's something that they do exist.
I was talking with a colleague, Councilman Fuentes, this morning, and he lives in Kramer Hill, and he was talking about the camera. It's a nice size security camera in an area that usually has illegal dumping. And he says for the last 30 days, it's been a deterrent. Right. It's been a strong deterrent of anything happening there. And I don't know if you can expand on that.
Out on 28th and Adams, which was one of the highest illegal dumping areas. Frank McLaughlin know it, Armando know it, because that's one of our biggest areas, whereas though we could get easy about 100 tons of trash just from there in a year. So what I did was, with Live View, I have 3 telescopic cameras that extends 24 feet in the air. They're able to rotate 360 degrees, motion sensor, license plate readers. I got it through Live View. And I said, you know what? We're going to clean up this area, and we're going to place the camera system out here, and we're going to see how long it takes for somebody to dump. It's been quite some time since somebody dumped over there. It's not a speck of trash on the ground.
Bring it over to 4th and Byron.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so, what we're going to do is it's able to be transported. Matter of fact, I'm getting another one that's supposed to be delivered on Monday.
Okay. I'm next, right?
Taking that down to South Camden. We also have, just like Armando said, through their program, we got Q-Star cameras. Now, what Q-Star cameras are, the camera we're talking about now is very visible, big, ornate, so it can deter you. So once I pull that camera, it's going to be a Q-Star camera somewhere around. I can't tell you where.
Right.
But it's going to be somewhere around to catch the perpetrators
Right.
that's dumping within our areas.
Okay.
So we have from NJDP, we just picked up one yesterday, a matter of fact. And the city, I have 4 of them with Camden County Metro that we worked on illegal dumping task force before. So I will be retrieving those cameras as well. So we'll be having 7 illegal dumping task force sites set up and ready for prosecution.
Yes.
And
Yes,
to add
indeed.
to that, the history of Keith's office working with cameras in our program ties to a site named Camden Labs that we actually, even though there was illegal dumping on the site, had some site remediation concerns and homelessness concerns on the area. And I just wanted to focus on the fact that the city has been making efforts even, 4 or 5 years ago, even before that, in terms of utilizing the camera for effective illegal dumping deterrence.
And some of what you guys are describing are hot spots. This is also what 4th and Byron is, 28th and Adams, Camden Labs, places where illegal dumping occurs so frequently that it ends up piling up pretty high sometimes. And so this is in addition to kind of what I think I'm more accustomed to seeing, and where it's some mattresses strewn on the side of the road, or like a few trash bags. Well, I can talk about this. I mean, and I had a similar experience. I live on the other side of town in South Camden. And I had a similar experience to the one that you described, where you and I were chasing a dumper. Yes. I was having a barbecue with my family one day, and I heard a loud noise behind my garage. Went back there to find some gentlemen in a U-Haul just unloading, Lord knows what, onto the ground. I went with my camera like this. Hello, excuse me. Hi, what are you doing here? Please pack this up and get out of here. Yes. So again, I live in somewhat of a hot spot, but it's a little too visible for the trash to really pile up. Right. But some of these hidden corners really get hit really hard, and you end up coming out to pick up hundreds of tons at a time. And this is, I think, a great use of these cameras and a great use of this money. Yes, Jack.
Illegal tires, TVs, and mattresses, okay? This is happening because I think the residents are not aware of how to properly dispose of these items. I don't think that they're purposely putting it in the empty lot because they don't want to see it in front of their house. I think if we're going to spend $1 million or whatever, how many $1 million we have, we need to educate our community members that we need to place these mattresses, these tires, and these TVs do you have a DPW site that they drop off once a month or no? Not yet?
Only thing you have to do is call 757-7034. We'll come pick it up.
Really?
TVs, tires,
You know I'm
mattresses.
going to call you.
Call me. That's why I'm here. I'm here to work.
You know I'm going to call you. But also, I think it's that lack of knowledge. I don't think people purposely just put the trash in the lot next to them. It's that they don't know how to get rid of it, because when the city, I forget, DPW and the city are 2 different sections.
Well, you can explain.
It's the City of Camden Department of Public Works.
Which is separate from waste management.
Which is separate from waste
Yes.
management, but waste management, we contract them out. I oversee them.
Okay.
So whenever you don't get any services rendered, call Department of Public Works and we will correct the actions.
Well, I have myself.
Okay.
One time we had a young man in one of those vehicles that you're talking about, picking up the recycle. He literally dropped the recycle and did not go back and pick it up. I had to go back to him and ask him to please come pick that up. So we're having issues with those departments. They're not picking up the trash. My residents are telling me they're not picking up the trash in some blocks. If there's more than 5 bags of trash or 6 bags, I don't know how many, they're not picking it up. They're not picking up the mattresses. They're not picking up the TVs. They're not picking up large bulk items. So what are our residents supposed to do? What are they doing with this trash?
So there is definitely, I think, some specifics involved in what happens on trash day, right? If you put out 6 mattresses in front of your house, Waste Management's not going to be able to pick them all up and put them on the truck because they'd have to turn around and go to Waste Management. They'd never finish the route.
Peter, I wish it was just 6
Right,
mattresses.
I know
but it's
exactly.
not.
I know
it's
what you
one
mean.
mattress. It's one TV. It's very little items that are not picking up. And I have a plethora of pictures that I can give out, to help out with this. This is a big problem here.
Right. So I think what you're saying is one of the ways that we could repurpose this money
Yes.
is to helping residents understand what they do when they have a TV. What
Exactly.
you do rather than put it on the median or put it in
I
the
think
field
that's-
next door.
I think that's a big part of it, being informed. And that goes along the lines of many different things within our community, just the messaging, the information, and we'll do a better job of, everything's not on social media.
Yeah, well, I believe in doing.
yeah.
So what I do is I actually take a picture of the trash where it was illegally dumped. I put a flyer that said, this was illegally dumped here. Does this belong to you? And I pass out the flyers to all the individual homes with the Camden Reports app and the Stop It app and say, this is how you should do it. I believe in doing. I have my own broom. I've been here for 4 years. I'm ready for a change.
Right. I love it.
So with that in mind, I'm going to move ahead to another question on my list here and talk. I want to hear from you guys a little bit in the abstract about how, and I think we can already tell, about how this problem makes us feel. How do we think that illegal dumping is impacting residents from a mental health, from a physical health standpoint? I'm sure there's data and statistics on this, but many of us live in the city. I think we all know how it feels to encounter this trash on a regular basis. Everything from frustration to anger to sadness. But how does this make us feel? How are we responding as a community?
Well, me, as a resident, I still live in Camden. Been living in Camden for 52 years. So, and been working at Public Works for 32 years. I'm angered. I'm upset, and I'm bewildered. Angry because you have the agencies and communities and community groups and agents and other department heads and other community groups within the community that will help you clean up the neighborhood, but they don't have the volunteers to come out to help them clean up their neighborhoods. And I see this down my way. I live in Landon Square West. Great organizations, but you only have a couple of people that's willing to come out and volunteer, but everybody has something to say. Instead of coming out and volunteering your services to better your community and take ownership thereof. I'm bewildered that why would you throw trash in your own neighborhood where you live when you could call Public Works and we'll come pick it up? So it's just like a dog chasing his tail. You'll never catch it. You're always chasing it, and that's the way I feel when it comes to illegal dumping, because we could clean up this area tonight. By Monday, I'll be right back out here cleaning it up.
I think we need to give our residents a little bit more credit because we run a program here called Block Supporters in North Camden, and the residents do come out. If we engage our residents to work together cooperatively to clean lots, to stabilize lots, we have over 250 residents registered that work together and that come to all of our events to help keep our community clean here in North Camden. I would love to share that model that we do here in North Camden with Landon Square West, so we can, you're right, we need to work together. But I really and truly believe that our residents are not purposely throwing out these things because they want their community dirty. I think it's lack of information. Just like I just found out that I can call this number to get my mattresses picked up. I'm literally finding this out right now. So if I'm finding this out and I'm in the community all the time, you know, who's to say for the community a member who's not connected? I didn't know that I just can call the 75 number and get the mattresses picked up. I'll be calling you all the time.
Oh yeah. Don't get it misunderstood. We have residents that's out here doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying that nobody's doing anything. I'm just saying we need more.
I can get you more. Don't you see how fabulous I am?
We need more, and it's just not in Landon Square West. I'm talking about just all around the city. If we all take ownership of our neighborhoods,
Yes.
we will change our neighborhood.
Yes, we,
all together, not just one group here, one group. No, everybody in the collaborative group just helping out.
Just
That's
keep
all.
engaging. Keep engaging the residents.
Right.
No excuses. We got to get away from the excuses and take ownership, as we've talked about. I think the theme is control your environment. I've literally seen our Public Works clean a corner in my neighborhood. Now I can go to the store and come back, and that corner has trash thrown on it. I've walked outside and talked to residents sitting there, and I said, I said, let's just pick this up. Like, come on, guys, we all live here. This is our place. Let's work together. Come on, I'm elected
And
official,
how does that go, Mayor?
and that conversation is sometimes they got to see you doing it.
Exactly.
Like
Pick,
literally.
you have your own broom.
Yeah.
I'm going to just share Black supporters in North Camden, okay, similar to what you just said. What I do with my fabulous team, okay, because I don't do it by myself, we walk the whole city in North Camden and we engage our residents. I give out knickknacks like decorations for the front of their home. I give out flowers. I give out flower boxes. I give out a lot of things that engage that conversation. That is just a carrot. I am not giving out bunnies or flowers because I want to give out bunnies and flowers. I want to have that in-depth conversation that you just said. Hey, do you know that DPW does this? Do you know that New View does this program? And I talk about every single program that's going on here in North Camden and in Camden, and I engage these residents like that. I create a personal relationship with these people. So when the next time I come around in my BSI van, they immediately pick up their broom and they start cleaning the front of their house because they know that Jackie's going to give them something nice for the front of their homes. We need to find ways to engage our residents. It is a social experiment that we've been doing now for 4 years. It works. Please let me bring it to your communities.
And Armando, I would like to ask you, since you work statewide on this issue, are there any other social experiments that you've seen that maybe work, things that people are trying that go well?
Throughout the state, illegal dumping is just a concern. Obviously, in communities like Camden, it's more pervasive because you have such a centralized amount of population in one area. Our state parks, well documented if you do some research online, have issues with illegal dumping as well. The different models that are being developed, honestly, are at the core very similar to what Jackie's describing. Getting those who are participating in the area, whether it be an area like Camden or a suburb or a rural area, making sure residents are aware of what can be done, what should be done, what resources are available. I wanted to tie just a little bit about a comment I made earlier about numbness. Growing up in a community similar to Camden, I was a kid, so I didn't really realize that my neighborhood wasn't supposed to have trash everywhere. As I had the opportunity to grow up and move outside of that community, fortunately to go to college, I learned, wait, not every community looks like this. Wait, this community has one abandoned lot and they're calling the town about it every minute. Whereas I was so used to and accustomed to walking by one and just not even realizing it's there. As I got older and I got back home, I started, as Jackie mentioning, picking up my broom, and something as small as sweeping up your own personal sewer system, like if you have an inlet in front of your house, cleaning it out yourself. My father says the city does that, and then I told him, well, we've been here how long? And I always hear you say the city does that, so let's do it ourselves. It's just the idea of we're social creatures. That's what humans are. We have a sense of community. And when you have issues of illegal dumping in a community like that, it impacts that self-image as well as the social image around it. So I think it's important that we make sure, and you brought up kids earlier, we think about the impact to us a lot, but the impact that imagery has on children is more impactful than I realized when I was younger until I got older.
And Armando, I'm sure you know this, but it's not just your dad who likes to say, the city does that. That is a popular quote. Yes. Who is the city? It's us, right? It's us. It's all of us. Somebody asked me where I'm from. I say Camden, New Jersey. I'm the city. I pick up the trash. Exactly. I'm not waiting for anybody in any particular position to come by and make sure that my sidewalk is clean. You know, we get out there, we take care of our space, we take care of our homes, we take care of our city, we take care of each other.
Exactly.
It's a community,
It's us.
right? It's a community.
I should add on to this so I don't make my father look
Of
bad.
course. Hey, my dad says the same thing. I'll call him out.
And
Caesar
I
Chandler
should
right now.
emphasize, he says La Ciudad lo hace, because obviously Puerto Rican, but he now will clean up every inlet within like a 5 square block.
He got into
area
it.
because he realized there can be a difference in that sense.
And I think that's what we're doing here in North Camden is becoming infectious. You know, we have contests now. We had a Stupid Up contest last year. We have a holiday house contest. We have a summer house contest. And my residents get excited about decorating the front of their homes. They get excited about cleaning up and making sure they send me pictures saying, look at my house. Can you feature my house? You know, and I know, and it takes time. I am in doing outreach every single day. I'm talking about even on Sundays. My mom screams at me. But I'm out there engaged in the community all the time, and it takes hard work. And yes, like you said, I get so angry. Right here at 7th Faneri, we have a big mural that we did with the residents called We Are Changing Camden, and somebody literally took their what is that? The window pane, the whole window pane with the glass, and threw it literally in the middle. You know how much work it had to take you to walk in the middle of that, to dump it in the middle? That was purposely done. I believe that wasn't an accident. That was like, no, you can't do this. One more thing that we do here in North Camden is we have a decorative board up program. And what we do is we have about 132 abandoned houses here in North Camden. I counted. And what we do is we have students and residents, and we paint panels and we decorate the houses. I think there's one back there, all the way in the corner. And we decorate it with to make it look like a house. During the summertime, we cut the grass, we clean up the dirt, whatever's there, and we engage the residents to help us. This year, we're going to have a theme called Picasso Arts, and so we're going to be having Monet, all the great artists, and the kids are going to be drawing on panels, and we're going to be putting them throughout the city. So instead of abandoned houses, you have works of art as you're driving through North Camden.
And with just a few minutes left, that is a perfect segue into my last question, which is about whether we think that art interventions are an effective way to address issues such as these. And of course, we're talking about illegal dumping today, but we'll be talking about something else tomorrow because we're human beings and we live here and we love our city and we want to address all of the issues. But as you know, a New View Camden was designed as an intervention specifically about illegal dumping. And the site that we're sitting today, Keith can tell you, we had to clean up a nice pile of illegal dumping just to get started building this site a few weeks ago. And it's true of all of the sites where we have our installations. Please check it out at www.anewviewcamden.com. You can see a map of all the sites. You can check them all out. They're all unique and interesting. But again, designed as a way to bring awareness to this issue. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Yes, we'll start with you, Mayor Vic. Is this an effective way?
I believe you hit it right on the head. Being open, being to innovation and creativity and attacking not just illegal dumping issues, but issues we have in Camden. I'm in full support of coming together, thinking outside the box. Because when you think outside the box, you'll bring awareness that you may not have thought you would get awareness from, because it's an outside of the box creativity. You know, look over here, and what you're pointing to, that's creativity.
Yes.
That opens people's eyes. Now once you bring them in, now you're able to explain and talk and give information about issues. And what you've been doing with New View, that opens up good discussions of why. The why.
Yep. And
You
it's
know, how
just
did this
like
come
that.
about?
Yeah, especially while we were building, we had lots of people stopping by. What is this?
Yeah.
This is a project about illegal dumping. That's what this is, know?
And along with that, collaborating with the efforts of what Director Walker is doing on a daily basis.
the mic.
And collaborating with what Director Walker does on a daily basis, and our partnerships, we come together and we start to close that gap. Yeah. And that's what it's going to take, to close these gaps, everyone. And thinking outside the box may open some eyes that normally would not have eyes would not have been open.
And to add to that, art is a form of communication, expression. I think the idea behind A New View was grand, and I think it's exactly where it needed to be. As the liaison for the city of Camden, I get emails internally within the state about things going on in the city just to make sure I'm abreast of what's going on. The amount of people who sent me the articles or around A New View, or people who work for the state that were driving past Camden or through Camden or on the Ben Franklin Bridge and saw one of the art installations right below, who took a picture and then waited till they got to work the next day to send me that picture to say what's going on in Camden, and me being able to elaborate more than them spreading the message further. Just on that little microcosm of the whole state, I think it's successful, and I think it's a good way to get the message out.
Right. And for me, it just shows the value of art and the reuse of open space that once was blighted. Now creativity has taken place, and you see the beauty. Like, this is my first time here. Like, I seen them like forming the what's this material called again?
Adobe.
Adobe.
Yeah.
I seen them forming it, had all the cast and things like that. So I just kept riding by. But this is beautiful. This is something like when I first came here, when we cleaned all the illegal dumping up. Now I'm back here. Like, this is like, wow. This is what lots can be. This is what open space can be, with community efforts, with agencies' efforts, with partnerships. We could beautify not only vacant lots, but just like with Jack and them, the boarded up houses. They don't have to look boarded up. They could be beautified until sold, until purchased. But it brings a life to its own. Because one thing my mentor said, still on my block, still my mentor, still a block captain. He always said, you keep your block clean. When a person walks through a clean block, it changed the way that they think about your block and about the people on the block. So right now, I'm responsible for the whole city. So I would like to change all the thought patterns and perceived notions of the residents of Camden and people outside, as to say, like, we care. We here to make a difference. And you are going to see the difference through all the partnerships that's taking place and the efforts that Camden and the mayor is taking control of and taking ownership of. You know, because what's her name? Conti from Bloomberg.
Yes, Miss Conti. Contini.
Yeah. When they showed up and seen the arts installations, they was wowed. They was wowed because they was like, oh, wow. Y'all was sending them pictures on the updates from what the area looked like to what it is when they showed up for the grand opening. Because it wowed me. I'm gonna tell you, I was part of it. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. So if it's doing that to me and I was part of it, imagine what it's doing to people from the outside that heard these stereotypes. It's changing their whole way of thinking. So that's what I feel, and that's what I get from art.
So
I
sounds
wanna say
like
thank you for all
inside.
the things you do.
Yes, inside the state, inside the city, people maybe are taking a new view. Mayor Vic, what would you like people to think about Camden when they ride through and see some of these things, some of these changes?
Our communities together, coming together. And I want them to see a sense of pride and feel it. And feel like, you know, as I've traveled many places throughout my lifetime, and I talked about the city of Camden, and the first thing people say is Camden, New Jersey. And I always said Camden's a great place, great people, great residents, resilient folks. I want the individuals that come through our city to feel that same way. And I feel like we're building, we're communicating, we're coming together, we have good partnerships, we have good leadership around, and leadership that I'll be in full support of with the innovations and the creativity that's going to help change. So I want to say thank you.
Well, thank you all with just 4 minutes left. So I'm just going to say if anybody has anything left that they want to say, that they felt like they want to share about illegal dumping, about our capacity to be change makers in the city of Camden. Now is the time for final comments.
One last thing.
Yes, of course, Ms. Jacqueline.
One of the other programs that we have is called North Camden Community Gardens. And what we do is we take empty lots and we convert them into gardens where the residents can use self-sustainability to grow their own fruits and vegetables. This is another thing we're doing. And we was also able to work with QUAC, Camden Urban Agriculture Collaborative. And we're going to be getting 8 greenhouses here in Camden. We're going to get 2 here in North Camden. And it's just about, upping it every single time. And you know me, I like to turn everything into art. So those greenhouses is going to come with a lot of artwork as well. I am replicating these. I already have seen the blueprints. And I just want to thank everybody here. I'm going to build it. I just want to thank everybody in the city that does participate and help out. I know I'm a little bit, in your face sometimes, but that's because I really care about my city.
First, I'll say thank you to Vedra, because I've seen the amount of work you've put into this over the last few years, if not more than that. And thank you for inviting the DEP to participate, as we hope that people understand we're trying to be better partners and even increase that capacity internally with the city. What I will say is, one of the things, and this ties to awareness, a lot of the residents, and this is not just in the city of Camden, but other residents throughout other cities, sometimes don't understand where the DEP can get involved. My recommendation, we have a hotline, 1-877-WARN-DEP. Utilize it. Even if it's not a DEP issue, we'll contact Keith and get them right on it as well. It's something that I want to make sure that residents are aware of, and in our
Different topic for a different day, right?
in our community meetings, one of the first things I try to tell all the residents is to make sure they either utilize that hotline or reach out to me directly so I can connect them to the hotline. Because, again, awareness ends up being one of the first big hurdles that we have to get through to make sure people are aware of what's going on.
For me, let's just make a change. My goal is to dig into that $4.3 million to try to alleviate most illegal dumping. You're not going to do it overnight, but I'm willing to put an effort in to make a dent in it. Like, that's what I'm dedicated to. And thank you to Mishka Mitchell and Vedra for pushing me with meetings for the new View Camden. Y'all was on it, and it kept me on the timeline. So just like I said, with the partnership, I love working with communities. I love working with the community. I love working with community groups because they're more organized. And what people need to understand about Public Works is a supplemental department. We come in to help. We don't come in to do. We come in to help. You having to clean up, we come help. You need your grass cut, we'll come and cut the grass and do all of that. But when it comes to the major things, like, we are there to help, like we need you to help us with the illegal dumping. Call. I got the pictures. I got the tag number. You don't have to get your name. Forward it to us. We'll carry it out. All right. And the Public Works hotline number is 856-757-7034. 24 hours is a recorded line, and we take calls off of it twice a day. So your call will get answered, and you will receive a call back. And Camden Reports.
www.camdenreports.com is a website we can use to report illegal dumping and excess flooding anonymously in the city of Camden.
And the Stop It app.
And the Stop It app. If
On
you
your
download
phone.
the app to
It's
your
easy.
phone, you can report any crime, including illegal dumping, anonymously and with ease. Mayor Vic, any closing comments?
I just want to say thank you. I think this was awesome, being able to have a good dialogue. That's what it's about. Sometimes you got to have some tough conversations to get to where you want to get at. And I appreciate everyone here, appreciate the collaborative, and look forward to some more discussions.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you so much to our panelists
Thank you,
today.
Vedra.
I'd also like to thank my colleagues at Cooper's Ferry, Mishka Mitchell and Chris Calori. I would like to thank our co-program coordinators at Rutgers Camden Center for the Arts, Camden Fireworks, the City of Camden, And of course, Bloomberg Philanthropies for giving us this amazing opportunity to install these public art projects related to civic issues. We've had lots of help from many generous sponsors and partners. I couldn't name them all, but of course, I'd also like to thank WHYY for helping us to organize this conversation and for recording it today. And we are going to hear briefly from Joy Soto, who is going to describe the community conversation initiative at WHYY. And then please, if you're able to hang around, this is a working pizza oven, as we explained. It has been heating up over the last couple of hours. And if you're interested in my novice culinary skills, I will make you a pizza. All right.
Good evening. Another round of applause for our panel and our amazing hosts. So again, my name is Joy Soto. I am the Community Voices and Engagement Fellow at WHYY. If you don't know what WHYY is, we're the local NPR radio station, news, media, PBS, Channel 12. Growing up, you might have known. We're based in Philly, and we also have an office in Wilmington, Delaware. But we do cover the suburbs of PA, South Jersey. So the past couple of years, we've been working in Camden specifically and in Willingboro, New Jersey, just to be out here to show our faces. I work in community engagement with the managing editor, Chris Norris. So we've been working the past couple of years, just like being out here. We're both from Philly. We're based in Philly. So we just wanted to come out, meet people, talk to people, listen to the stories. Essentially, we know that a lot of South Jersey is a news desert, so you don't have a specific organization you can go to. A lot of times they get the wrong message, a lot of times in Philly as well. So we partnered with Vedra and Cooper's Ferry back in the winter of this year to do an essay contest about illegal dumping, and that went very well. So we wanted to continue the partnership and do this panel in person. This is our first in-person event since 2020. And I think it went great. And again, thank you, for taking your time, for coming out. Thank you all for coming out and supporting. Then we wanted to record this. It will be on our website at whyy.org, hopefully within the next month. But definitely keep your eye out for events that we're continuously doing virtual and in person. I also wanted to make a plug. We are doing a South Jersey Summit, News and Neighborhoods. So that's on our website as well. It's free. It'll be 100% virtual. We'll also be talking about our partnership with Cooper's Ferry with the essay contest and also with this event. So feel free just to participate, to watch. At the end, we'll have a breakout session where people are able to talk to our reporters. If you have any questions, feel free to come up to us and talk to us. Check out our table back here, get some swag. And again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to come out and learning about important subjects.